Alright, the next video I plan on doing after this one is a variety of sandwiches. And with some of them is mayonnaise. Don't get me started. No, just wait to see it, make your decision then. Now, the dilemma with mayonnaise is I like my real mayonnaise, okay? Whole egg, that kind of thing. The trouble is it's got lots of other stuff in it. It takes up space. And yes, it's fast, but I mean, that's what this whole economy is built on, is use and dispose. Fast food, fast this, so on, okay? That bottle, depending on what size that you get, takes up the exact, almost same space, except in a different direction, as a crate of eggs. And mayonnaise is nothing but basically eggs and oil. Basically. The dilemma is, and the reason people say don't make mayonnaise at home, is mayonnaise, traditional mayonnaise, uses raw eggs. Raw eggs can have salmonella, other contaminants, especially when you're doing it in a home environment where everything is not 100% sanitized like it's 100% sanitized in the damn manufacturing company. All right, but again, there is, anytime that you're doing homegrown, anytime that you're doing homemade, there are certain things that we as normal individuals are not always aware of because the majority of people were never taught it. And so we don't think about it. But eggs, especially raw eggs and so on, it can kill you. So I got thinking and was doing some stuff and thought, how could you dispense with using raw egg? If everything was food safe, technically, then that wouldn't be such a big problem, and it would probably store in the fridge a bit longer without all the additives and stuff. So I did my research, and today we are going to make mayonnaise without using raw egg. Then in the next video that I do, we're going to be making some sandwiches and stuff using it. With me so far? Good. All right, so the basic, let me get this moved over here. So the basic thing, I mean, mayonnaise is fairly simple. You have some raw eggs. You have typically it was white vinegar or apple cider vinegar. Today we're going to be using lemon juice and salt and oil. Whip it up, poof, basically, voila, mayonnaise. But as I said, I wanted to remove at least one possibility of food poisoning and contamination. So today, we're going to be making it out of boiled eggs. Boiled eggs creates a problem. The chemicals that you need in what's known as an emulsifier, which is in the egg yolk, when you cook it, it's no longer there. And it's the separation of the water. It causes the oils to separate from the water and so on that's in there. But the egg white has this emulsifier naturally. When you cook it, it no longer is there because you've bound it. Okay? So we're going to be using mustard because I like my mustard. But we don't use a lot, but we'll be using the mustard as an emulsifier. There's other things you can get, lectin powder or whatever, but I'm just working with what I've got here in the kitchen. We always have eggs, we got salt, oil, that kind of thing, but okay. I'm not going to go out and buy special powders and all this sort of stuff. So, how does this work? First thing is you need to chop up your eggs, and I forgot my cutting board. I just washed everything to have it all set up, and I forgot to pull it out. As I said, the kitchen may look chaotic, but I try to keep it as clean as possible, or sanitary as possible. So the first thing we're going to do is choppy our egg. Now I don't want to leave lots of egg stuff around, so I'm going to use a clean-edged blade. I'm not going to lay my yolk down on here because it'll stick to it. So all I'm going to do is cut it just like so. Once lengthwise down the middle, cut it into 6 little cubes. And voila, I don't have a big yellow cutting board. So now we're done with that. To this, we want to add some certain ingredients. So we want to put our dry stuff in first. So we want 1/4 of a teaspoon of salt. Any kind of salt will do. Just make sure it's a fine-grained salt, not a heaping tablespoon, not a heaping spoon, but a level 1/4 teaspoon. Okay. We need a teaspoon of lemon juice. Mind you, we're doing this with one egg. I have 5 eggs if I need to make more, because this is fairly fast. I'm just doing it slow. All right. But if you have all the ingredients, it just takes a minute or 2 to make. Then we're going to use our mixer. This is my old mixer. Not used it in a while. And we are going to get our oil. You can use vegetable oil, whatever. Again, I'm using my cold pressed virgin olive oil. Okay, I went to a little smaller diameter here because you've got to keep enough material above that so it makes the vacuum. Now, if you're going to use this immediately, you won't need to add an emulsifier because you're going to be mixing it in with whatever, and it won't have time to separate. Sort of like peanut butter. But there you go. That's about how thick I like mine. And by adding, I mean, the original recipe called for like 1/4 of a cup. Was it? No, it called for a 1 cup. I put far less of that in here with 2 eggs versus what they would have wanted in there with 1 egg. So you can control your consistency this way. Other than that, it tastes a little more eggy. And I believe actually 1/4 teaspoon of salt, I would have used half of that from the traditional recipe for this. But I think overall the experiment came out fairly well. It's smooth, it's creamy, it will spread well, and there you go. And because the eggs are boiled beforehand, they are more food safe. But if you're going to keep it long term, you're either going to do like homemade peanut butter, you're going to have to mix it every time you want to use it because it will separate, or put in a little bit of mustard or whatever else you want to use as a emulsifier. There you go.